Let's cross over now to my colleague Seth Kwame-Boateng, who is live at that conference in Glasgow. Seth, good to have you. I'm sure the Keta tidal waves have come to the attention of the First Lady and many others at that conference. What have they been saying about it?
So the Second Lady, you mean? So this was an issue, especially yesterday, and I remember speaking to the NADMO boss from here, who told us that they had dispatched some items to the people in Keta. I believe, following the report Matsu Ababa filed, it's clear that the NADMO people on ground and have given the things, the relief items to them. I also engaged the Minister for Environment later in the day, who spoke extensively about what is happening in Keta, and he's not surprised. And he's saying that if we are not careful, this will continue. And it's a clear sign of climate change, how the temperatures are rising and how we seem not to be doing the right thing to protect the environment. So it's an issue that came up here yesterday, but all they are saying is that it's climate change. So it's up to us to intensify education, let Ghanaians appreciate what it is, so that the mitigation measures we can put in place to fix this, we can. But as we prepare to end the ceremony, the conference in the coming days, in the next 2 days, I have with me here Dr. Nchi Buosia Kwamwa. He's one of our lead negotiators, and I'm trying to understand how far we've gone so far, what we are getting so far, and how the conversation has been over here. We have just a few days to go. How is Ghana doing, and the negotiations, how are they going?
Thank you so much, Seth, for this opportunity. I think so far, so good. The aspects that looks at visibility for Ghana, that has been very superb. You are a witness to that, so that one I don't need to say much about it. For the negotiations, I think things are wrapping up. We're coming into the high-level issues because last week was basically to do the technical details of the work. Now the work is in the hands of the ministers, so that they resolve those issues that have, we call them contentious issues, so that we can come to an agreement that is acceptable to all parties. So far, let me highlight on some of the contentious issues that are still on the table. Climate financing is still on the table.
And before you continue, yesterday in that ministerial meeting, the Clean Air Coalition, the former Secretary of State, US, was there, and he made a case for Africa, saying that it is time the developed nations honored the pledge they made. Because if they are, and he said those countries were emitting about 80%, and Africa was doing less. So if that is the case, why are they not providing the resources that we need to fight this in Africa? How do you feel about this, coming from John Kerry?
I think I'm happy it's coming from John, but what he's saying is not the posture of his negotiators in the room.
Really?
Sometimes you see the US blocking most of some of these issues that are supposed to be to the benefit of Ghana and then Africa. And so, yes, it's a very good statement that I support, but this should reflect in the negotiation room.
So let's go back to those contentious issues that you were talking about.
Yes, so I started with climate financing. Because of the failure of the 100 billion pledge that was done since 2009 up to 2020, there's a new formulation of a new climate architecture starting 2025. How it is going to take form and shape, we are not too clear about it as developing countries.
Those developed countries are clear. Is that the case?
Because they know what they are doing. And so because we have learned lessons from the 2009-2020 pledges, we want to actually know the form, the format, the methodologies, the sources where these financing promises will be mobilizing from. Should that happen, we're going to have trust in the system, so that as developing countries, because negotiation is about trust. If you don't trust what is in the room, definitely implementation is going to be one of the issues. So that is one of the issues. Secondly, the issue of global goal on adaptation is still also not accepted by developed countries.
Is this coming from developing countries?
This is a proposal from developing countries, from the African group, supported by almost all the developing countries, especially the least developed countries. Now, Article 7 of the Paris Agreement talks about global goal on adaptation. It didn't provide any serious language as to how this should be operationalized. Should we operationalize the global goal on adaptation, it means that we're going to get adaptation more visible as mitigation within the Paris Agreement framework.
How we going to for Ghanaians who do not understand adaptation and all those things, what does that mean, the adaptation bit?
Okay, so for climate change, there are two main things: mitigation and adaptation. Mitigation means that we are talking about global warming. Global warming. There's so much heat in the system. So anything, any policy, any measure, any activity, any program that seeks to absorb carbon, that seeks to stop carbon from emitting into the atmosphere, that makes it available for them to be sequestered, is called mitigation. You are mitigating the fact that you prevent carbon emissions into the atmosphere. So in simple terms, that is mitigation. For adaptation, it is any measure, any activity, any policy, any program that seeks to actually build confidence, build resilience, enhance the capacity of vulnerable communities to be able to withstand the impact of climate change. You are adapting to the climate impact.